You know, the paint doesn't get dry on the 5-year plan before Lee, who had a great view of what we ought to be doing globally. And he just felt that we were lagging behind a bit in our global initiatives and put together a group of trustees. Back then, Joan Spiro, Savio Tung, Clyde Wu, Vikram Pandit, et cetera, who began to think about, you know, what we could do internationally. Today, we have a hugely successful operation, and I'll let Lee tell you about it.
So everybody speaks about globalization, and I think if you look at China, if you visit China, if you go to other countries, you realize very quickly that astonishing things are happening in the world. They've happened very rapidly. And it's mostly economic activity that is generating this huge transformation of the world. And then you take Bill's area of technology and how that is a Gutenberg press kind of change in our world. We can communicate now in ways that are utterly beyond anything we've had before. You put those two forces together and you have a new and different world. That means any university that's going to think about what their fields are, what work we do, what we need to contribute to the world, how we educate our students, everything has to be thought through. We move very slowly, deliberately. We think about problems for long periods of time. We look for as much truth as we possibly can find in the rich mystery of life. But we always know that we have to align ourselves with what's happening in the world. So how do we do that in this new world? We have lots of great faculty who are experts in China or Latin America, global issues. They're really wonderful, wonderful faculty, great regional institutes. And yet a lot of faculty feel, I think, and I certainly have felt this way, that we need to get out more into the world and see what's happening so that we can adjust our fields and think of new fields. So how do we help them? Well, we set up groups of faculty from different fields. We give them some funds. We're doing that. We've created the Committee on Global Thought, led by Joe Stiglitz. We've done a number of things that are really good. But the other thing we have to do is figure out what kind of presence we will have around the world. We've got great international students and faculty coming here, but how do we get out into the world? So we've decided to follow the course of setting up global centers, we call them, in 7 regions of the world. By the end of this year, we will have 7 up and running. Paris, Amman, Jordan, Mumbai, Nairobi will open, Beijing, Santiago, and these really are staffed by very sophisticated people in different kinds of buildings, but they're usually small. And the staff is there to help our students and faculty work on real projects with local institutions around the world. And we think that will be a fantastic way for us to establish a presence in the world.
That's great. So I'm going to go to have you talk about, you mentioned, you know, the 3 big schools and, you know, the importance of those. Give us a brief update on medical school, law school, business school, and then we'll turn it over to the audience for some questions. Okay. How's that?
Business school, of course, is thinking very in the future for the move to Manhattanville, and anytime you do that, you naturally think through really what is business school education and research all about, and the school is being led by Glenn Hubbard doing exactly that. Law is always very vibrant. That's my field, and I love the law school. I think it's doing extremely well and filled with people who are eager to work on these kinds of global projects. Medical school is really a great success story under Lee Goldman of a place like lots of medical schools, but ours especially was very financially challenged. And we've stabilized it. Lee has done great work there, and now we're just in the process of beginning to develop a very, very significant long-term plan for how to improve it. talk about everything. I mean, journalism school, really wonderful under Nick Lemon's social work, Jeanette Takamura, graduate school, Carlos Alonso. I mean, we've got great leaders.
Yeah, I mean, just to watch the improvement in the schools, I sat in the trustee meetings years and years ago when you worked on these things in just little silos until each one of them got enough critical mass and clout to where they became part of a great university that now is rated number 4 in the world. So let's turn this over to you. I'm sure you have some questions that you'd like to ask Lee. If we have, do we have microphones in the audience, or you just want to get up and shout? And, I see a couple of microphones back there, but shouting works too. Yes?
Mr. President and Mr. Campbell, thanks for being with us today. In the papers recently...
How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We seeded the question. No, I'm only joking.
In the papers recently, there's been a story about the Bloomberg administration possibly inviting Stanford or Cornell or some other institutions of no consequence to open a branch campus in this city specifically dedicated to engineering and applied sciences. And as a professional in technology yourself, what do you think we should be doing to respond to this, and are we responding to this?
So I will, I'll let Lee elaborate on this, but let me make sure. First of all, I want to make sure you guys, everybody in this audience knows, if there was one person responsible for making sure that we've got ROTC back on our campus, Tom was the member of the Senate and really pushed and advocated for ROTC to come back on the campus.
Thank you, sir.
The question's a good one. We are very devoted to trying to win that RFP. I think that Stanford got a little bit of head start on us because I think they planned it and a little bit ahead of time. Didn't notify anybody. In fact, nobody notified us. We've responded, as many people on the trustees know this morning. We spent a lot of time on this morning, talking about what our response process should be. We feel like we are in very, very good shape with our proposal, and we're going to be as worthy as anybody else to try to get our way in there and see if we can't win this as well.
So the city wants to utilize Roosevelt Island or Governor's Island and has offered that as a space for university to set up a tech kind of academic base. The city is ultimately interested, they say, in having a wider and more diverse economy, and so they want a Silicon Valley kind of situation here. We've said we have a great engineering school. We've got great related disciplines. We've got a university here. We can focus on data and its gathering and how to use data and so on, and lots of things that we're expert on and would love to build. And we have Manhattanville, and we're ready to do this. We don't have the funds to build this, but if you want to help us, we would be thrilled to do that, and we think it would be a great benefit to the economy. No question on the merits, we should win. And we'll see how, thank
you. Lee's totally right on the merits, and frankly, I don't think the city was, I think that they weren't straightforward with this. I think they were working a little bit for proposal behind the scenes, and when other people were interested, I think that they were surprised. So, Fenny Escapin-Mora, our dean of our engineering school, rallied some alumni, and we are well on the way. Another question.
So let me just say one other thing. If Stanford is chosen by the city to set up a base on Roosevelt Island or in the city, we will be fine. In fact, there will be lots of benefits for us. And as I say all the time, Harvard is better for MIT and vice versa. Stanford is better from Berkeley and vice versa. We do not shy away from academic competition. We thrive in it, and there's no reason why that wouldn't be true here.